people will go in to ensure that there is no bomb rally in the space. Most times to do that, anybody who calls them with a bomb threat is to disrupt, is to cause closure. It's a tactic I've seen when I was working in a particular place within the corporate world. They would have used that as a union strategy. I say that with no apology because there was no bomb threat, there was no bomb in the building. Every day they were just, you'll hear the alarm going off and they were just disrupting business to get their point across. Not too sure what yesterday's occurrence was about, but we will get some details as to, just public safety, as mentioned, legal ramifications, and if there's any kind of precedent, because this yesterday was quite a coordinated effort. I mean, here is 8 magistrates' courts, 1 mall, 11 bomb threats in 40 minutes. That's no coincidence. I do believe in coincidences. That's something that was strategic to cause, as I would have mentioned. I feel that was to cause disruption. All right, to have the place a little bit on edge. And a beautiful picture here, much more feel-good story. I mean, this player from the Tech Tropical Angel Harps, what a smiler. Her smile is really, that's a $1 million smile right there. All smiles for yesterday's pan and powder. The procession that happened there in Port of Spain, well attended, lots of fun by everyone in attendance. And it's just another way to express pan in this pan month. We celebrate our national instrument. It is important to give the players their space and their moment to just put their practice in motion. The pan yard, you're practicing, finally you get a chance to go out on the road and play to a live audience, and it's just one of those things that so magical. If you know, you know. And I only was able to understand it when, as a young man, I went play for School Panorama, and as a young adult, took a little tush with Starlift back in the day. And this is way back in the day when Starlift was in St. James, at the start of St. James, where one Woodbrook is now located. So we're talking some good years now. So that's a feel-good story. All smiles, pan and powder yesterday in the city. Also, PNM served with more court papers over Balize House. Yes, indeed, that story continues to develop, and I guess it will now go down the road of lawyers and answering questions, and they'll have to obviously treat with the trustees. I'm seeing here, well, PNM trustees served court documents as Balize House funding probe continues. That story on page 7. And staying with a PNM development, I'm seeing where Manning, that's Brian Manning, calls on PNM to intervene after his removal from the constituency group chat. So that's a development happening there with the opposition MP and the San Fernando East seat. That development and more inside today's Guardian on page 7. As mentioned, the young Warriors did not get to the next level of the tournament, to the next phase, but they ended on a victorious note. 4-1 to the young Warriors over French Guiana, and that would have left Trinidad and Tobago in Group B with only, I would say, 4 points. Remember, Haiti got 6 points, 2 wins. Well, Trinidad, I think we lost to Haiti, a matter of fact, and we had a draw, I know, with our friends in Puerto Rico, and we were able to beat French Guiana. I'm seeing Jamaica also topping their group with 9 points, and the Dominican Republic, the host country, also topping their group. So, hard luck there to the young Warriors. Keep marching on. The under-14s, we have to keep our eyes on these young players and keep them together, try to keep the unit strong and help them build. And if we could at least, from the younger pool of players, if we could keep them, groom them, get them into that fold so that they can grow together and just kind of get into the team, hopefully. I mean, this must be, if we look at the under-14s and the under-16s and stuff, this got to be our 8-year, 10-year plan down the road to at least keep the best in the pool of talent together and keep them on home soil so that we could filter them naturally into the senior squad. Some cricket action here, Sri Lanka against India. Test match action, a beautiful shot there where you're seeing Dev, number 37, jumping all the way. I think you call that position in cricket as, and that's silly point, they call that. Where you're right up on the batsman, trying to get an edge. But there's one way if the man, if there's a particular shot or a stroke, you have to get out of the way, yeah? You don't want to get hit with a cork ball at all, you know. That's what all cricketers avoid at every angle of the game, every juncture. You try to not get injured or get hit with that ball. So that's an action shot. CPL, big win for Guyana last evening, but obviously that's where more or less I finish my sport discussion, because Ian really steps in to do that deep dive. He is in from 7:30 straight up until 8. The morning shot, Ian Wason stepping in this morning. I look forward. Let's see what's happening via the brief before we do that Business Guardian roundup. I love the story of the Pariag and the maturity they would have shown, and the daughter recognizing that the parents, despite their divorce, when she was only 3 years old, they would have put aside their differences. Young Christy says, Christiane, she says, listen, you know, parents live 2 different sides of the island, you know. I'm seeing where the dad, hold on there, she said the dad, somebody in Grandy and somebody else in Penal, you know. And she would have given some details here. And I said to myself, you know what, well done parents, it's a good look, you know, to put everything aside and just always show up for your child, right? And she's able to obviously see it from her vantage point, and it didn't impact her in terms of her studies and her upbringing. Yeah, she said the dad lived in Grandy, or lives in Grandy, and the mom is in Penal. But they make it work. They make it work. So well done. She would have done quite well. And I'm seeing another youngster, this is Akhilesh, right? Maharaj. Hope I got his first name. Yeah, I think it's Akhilesh Maharaj. He, of course, would have done well. He credits football, discipline, and humility for his Cape success. Again, to all the Cape students, all those who would have done well at the CSEC at the Cape, congratulations. Whatever you plan to do going forward, do it with the same level of commitment and distinction. And listen, the sky will be not even just the start, not even the limit. Go forward, make us proud. Before we head to the Business Guardian breakdown, a matter of fact, excuse me, let me head to what TNT means to me, just in time for Independence, our feature, where the commentary is via the news in the evening at 7, and we also put a little soundbite in terms of a little commentary, a quote from the commentator, a proud Trini. We put it also on The Guardian. And Johnny Maharaj says, it's a mixed race of people coming together and enjoying themselves, end quote. That's Johnny Maharaj explaining what TNT means to him. That's right. What does TNT mean to you? You know, if they were to ask you that question, what would be your answer? That's a good one to consider on this Thursday morning. As mentioned, Anthony Wilson not in this morning. Peter Christopher steps in for our Business Guardian breakdown. Of course, after that, Umlala. And then certainly another chance to touch base with Officer Owie Russell for the Police and You. A very action-packed first hour ahead. See you soon.
Because they know what Trini does look. And they like what Trini does cook. And they like to hear Trini talk. And they like Trini woman walk.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player. whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Here at GMMB, love is the currency. And let's show you how we are able to transfer that energy into real conversation. What about the connection with you and your team members?
It's top priority for me to have that clear understanding of who my team members are and building connections with them to ensure that they carry out the vision of what we are trying to achieve as a team, realizing opportunities for both the clients and ourselves.
GMMB.
It's banking for you.
The fun. Welcome, welcome, one and all to the land of bet. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone.
For today, Thursday, it is the Business Guardian Breakdown. Peter Christopher from the Business Guardian desk. He joins me, and as always, Peter, great to have you bright and early. And I look forward to what's inside today's Business Guardian. And I want to start with the front page. Struggle to survive. Businesses in Maraval and St. James. Well, I would imagine based on this headline, they're going through a particular moment. I would love to know what is the takeaway from this story. And again, Pete, good morning. Great to see you.
Good morning, and good morning to all your viewers in Trinidad and Tobago and across the world. Yes, this is now part 4 of our community series where we go into various areas of Trinidad and Tobago and get an idea of how businesses in those areas are faring. And not unsurprisingly, it's a similar picture again that, we've been seeing the business sector really struggle with basically the cost of living and the limited spending power of the public. Maraval and St. James house some of what some people might say some of the busier districts in Western Trinidad, and some people might believe might have a bit more of that economic power, but yet still these businesses are saying people are shopping less, and that's what Gisha Calesa-Alonso realized when she went to certain businesses. There were some familiar names. There was John Hadid of The Right Stuff was talking about the fact that he's seen businesses doing that, and he's had to close down at least 4 of his businesses, and he's now down to his last. And he's been trying to manage his stock based on the amount of traffic that he's getting from customers and noting that people are spending less. Additionally, in St. James, Gisha Calesa-Alonso would have encountered some food vendors who also saw that, there's been a change in how consumers come to them. People are not dining in as much, and that has been an issue all the way going back to COVID. But there had been a trend towards, takeaway and the street food kind of aesthetic, which has led to the creation of all these food hubs across Trinidad and Tobago. But even this year, those vendors have noted that people are shopping less and coming out for food less. Some of them are saying it's because of crime, and some of them are just saying that the people just can't afford to come out and spend that money. Yeah,
I want you to touch on that part because, St. James, known as the city that never sleeps, it's a place where back in the day you could get a roti 2 o'clock in the morning. You could guarantee get a burger. The punch man will be out, good morning to Brown. I've spent some years in St. James, so I'm trying to figure out, is there a major concern as it pertains to public safety? Is it that lots of businesses are having early closures? Or that's why probably the business part of it that would run late into the wee hours not happening? What's going on in St. James especially?
there's definitely a concern about crime that was highlighted in this space. I noted that one of the businesses had to move from a location where they preferred the traffic because it was a two-way street. There were a lot of people coming up and down there, because the building that they were housed in had to be sold. So that's also another, add-on effect of the situation where some businesses are looking at, the cost effectiveness of staying in St. James, moving into other locations, having to move to other locations that may not be as advantageous. So there are a lot of different effects that are impacting businesses across the country.
Pete, well, I tell you, it's one of those eye-opener stories. And, St. James, Maraval, it's a really interesting read inside today's Business Guardian. I want to head to your story. We head more to the Central Plains here for the Brechin Castle Solar Farm, and apparently Barbados-based economist Maria Ducaran is putting forward a particular, Marla, my apologies, Marla. Actually I met Marla in Kanto. So Marla is putting forward a particular a finding. Could you elaborate on this?
Well, it's really an assessment of the electricity costs across the Caribbean, but she flagged a major issue that, the Caribbean on a whole has not been doing enough to, transition to renewable energy, despite there are many advantages. We have, access to water, wind, and solar energy significantly in the Caribbean. And she keyed into the point that both Barbados, where she lives, and Trinidad have developed solar farms or solar plants and yet are not using the capacity from it. Of course, the Business Guardian would have highlighted that since January, we have not been using the electricity that has been generated by the Brechin Castle solar farm. And she is seeing that as a major oversight given the challenges that we are seeing with regard to energy volatility. Of course, there's been the US-Iran conflict and the Strait of Hormuz being closed, causing volatility and spikes within the cost of energy. And she's stating that definitely we should be doing more to make sure that these farms and plants are actioned and able to bring down that cost. It would affect foreign exchange. It would divert a lot of resources that could be helped with regard to food security and other things within the region. And she pointed out that in Uruguay, they made a concerted effort just over a decade ago to shift towards renewable energy, and that is perhaps the example we should be trying to follow, as opposed to, having those bureaucratic clashes. So she's urging for the government and private sector to get together and form a policy so that we can action and make sure that what is happening at Brechin Castle can be, resolved sooner rather than later.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that great story. And again, some commentary and analysis from Marla, who's now based in Barbados. I had a chance to nice meeting with her at Kanto recently in the DR. Final story, Anthony Wilson's story, and he's asking another very pertinent question. The question is a simple one. He says, will trade unions turn against government? Simple question, but not a simple answer, I would imagine. What's your takeaway from this story?
Well, the consultant business editor, Anthony Wilson, would have looked at the ongoing negotiations that have been happening. And of course, we've seen some of it ramp up over the past week with the Communication Workers Union and most importantly, the Public Service Association with regard to the WASA negotiation. Now, of course, WASA would have had, the PSA president would have had a joint press conference with the Public Utilities Minister stating that they came to some level of agreement, even though the negotiation is still ongoing. But he's wondering what is the breaking point if certain promises that have been made since the election campaign are not met. So he's looking at the relationship between the various unions who may have supported the government or may not have supported the government during the campaign and trying to see where they are going to draw the line, because a lot of the things that have been promised have not yet been actioned and time is only going. So it's putting the question to the PSA and the OWTU, what is the line that you all are going to look at in terms of the promises that need to be kept for you all to continue to see that, yes, we support this government and we are not yet ready to protest what they are doing?
Yeah, I mean, very interesting one. As I said, simple, very straightforward question, straightforward answer. I know it's never easy for such a question, and I would imagine it will go back down to timeline and deadlines. So I guess it's one of those interesting takeaways. Hey, Pete, as always, sincere thanks. Great edition, as always, and by all means, we employ everyone today to get the copy of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, and inside the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian is your copy of the Business Guardian. Beautiful stories today. Business journalist Peter Christopher touching base. All the best, Pete.
Same to you, man. All the best to you on this Thursday, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Same to you, to Pete and the Business Guardian desk. Tremendous work, tremendous stories. Sincere thank you. Umlala is going to join me on the phone line to treat with what we experienced yesterday. We saw it across the country in a matter of 40 minutes. About 11 bomb threats, magistrates court, mall. What's going on? So let's treat with this legal and public safety concern. Umlala, he joins me next.
All the sugar can be good for me. All these years I spent abroad in the cold, longing to be home. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. Lord, I pray that some...
Need to open a bank account? There's no time to make the drive to stand in line. Get ready. Opening an account with Republic On Board is easy from anywhere at any time, even while waiting for a food order. So you don't have to skip lunch. Republic On Board. Fast, easy, secure. Visit www.republiconboard.com to open your account today.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Life, what a wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique, and at Tata Life, we not only understand but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never ever have to worry. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Legal and public safety is of paramount importance, and to treat with this particular topic, and well, more particularly yesterday's development, where in 40 minutes, 11 places, we're talking a magistrate's court, the judicial building in Bacolod, Tobago, we're talking Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, a ministry and all, even a shopping mall, Val Park, where you go get your nice lunch and you could go and hang out in the evening. All Val Park and all pass in the rush. What's going on? This seems to be very targeted, very coordinated. It smells of disruption to me, from my vantage point on the outside looking in, but that's just a layman's perspective. Let's bring a legal luminary into the conversation. Umlala joins me, attorney at law. He's on the phone line this morning. Umlala, it's been a long time. Great to hear your voice. Great to have you with us on the program. Good morning.
Good to be here. Good morning to you and all your listeners. Good morning.
Would you say, Umlala, my assessment of this being quite coordinated is spot on? Because this doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. And I know when a bomb threat is leveled at any particular facility, it's really to bring about disruption, early closure, to just disrupt the day's business. What was your interpretation and your reading of the room yesterday with this development?
Well, it is very disturbing that there would be so many bomb threats within a 40-minute period. We've had experiences in the past of one at a time or maybe two, but I can't recall when last we've had so many at one window of time being a 40-minute period, especially since you are threatening courts. Courts are likely to be open. They're not open yet. It really is. It's concerning. I read in the newspapers this morning also that the fire services don't have any experts right now on hand, bomb experts. Either their training is expired or many have retired. That too is very concerning. And we are still in a state of emergency. Having that type of coordinated, disruptive act may not only be for disruption, but it's testing the system, causing to see what is reaction time. Given the state of the global, the world as we see it now in terms of disruption, it's something to be taken very seriously, and it's very concerning that, there would be an attempt of this nature. I mean, we're fortunate nothing has happened, but, a bomb threat is what it is. It's a threat. You don't want it to ever happen or materialize, because very often when we see bombs taking place around the world, it's innocent people get hurt. So I think TTPS has to take this very seriously in the country too, especially also addressing that issue of bomb experts, which now is a public matter.
Yeah, understood. And in terms of the courts being targeted, what's the protocol in a courthouse when a bomb threat is leveled? Is it that they shut down for the day, or they would do their sweep, account for everyone, and after you get the all clear, could you go back to business as usual? What's been your experience as it pertains to the courthouse bomb scares you've dealt with over the years?
Well, in the past, they would clear. They would have the bomb experts come in. Once all clear is given, then you would return. It would obviously be disruptive. On some occasions, it may cause the court, depending on accessibility of experts to come in, it may shut it down for the day. Now, the reverting to in-person court may be disruptive to a lot of people, but I think it's a good move in terms of having that direct communication. That is another issue of concern that some lawyers have, but I think in-person trials, hearings, the important matters being dealt in person and getting back to pre-COVID is important. One of the concerns is whether adjournments and that's what you call case management hearings should still be kept virtual, which there may be merit in that to keep the system moving quicker. I think it's important, and justice needs to actually be seen not only through virtual mechanisms, which has worked well, but I think that may have a disruptive effect in people's minds. In fact, that you target so many courts, it may be a signal of a disheartened view towards courts returning to its in-person hearings, because it's interesting that courts that have not yet opened or about to be opened fully are being targeted.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective, because I know, as you rightfully said, there was this pivot after COVID. Lots of matters, especially, you could obviously elaborate as it pertains to if indeed serious criminal matters are also being heard online, or if the showing up in person part of it is mandatory. But walk me through the advantages, and if indeed having this online scenario still a major part of the fabric, if indeed it will help with the backlog, the advantages and disadvantages, as it were, of showing up in person and the online appearance as it pertains to court?
Well, online became very convenient. I mean, it was disruptive for everyone, lawyers, litigants, the police, in the beginning, because it was an ad hoc system that came as an emergency. But remember, when you're dealing with, especially, let's say, the most serious of matters, which are criminal, which can affect your liberty by a decision being made, a virtual hearing may not give a person, an accused person, the opportunity to at least face his accuser in person. And very often hiding behind a screen from a legal point of view, if you want to test the credibility of a witness, you may not get the full impact as in person, and even a judge may not be able to assess the demeanor of witnesses, which are all very important in the hearing of matters.
Because I would imagine, certain nuances are important, body language and that, you know, you look for certain things like that.
It is a reaction. It's somebody who's being scrutinized by a lawyer who's cross-examining them, and a court making a determination of all the factors. And you see, while it's convenient and it's easy to say, let's just do it virtual, but unless your life or liberty is at risk, only then you realize the seriousness of it. And having practiced for many years in person, while I love the convenience of virtual, I also understand the value of the liberty of the person and the importance of having a proper, fair trial in person where matters are ventilated properly. And, you know, it is important to get back to that position because, yes, you want to deal with statistics, and the former Chief Justices of the view of virtual helped move the statistic forward faster, but you always have to be mindful of people who are before the court. Court is a very disruptive environment for anybody's personal life, criminal or civil. It's not a pleasant place to be, but you want the best opportunity that whatever the outcome, you used all the mechanisms available legally to ensure that you get the best fair hearing possible. And I think that is what is important, the fair hearing of our system going back to where it was meant to be is what is important. And I see the new Chief Justice is trying to make moves to open new courts. I see a lot of magistrates being appointed, judges being appointed. You have no choice but to open more courts, hire more magistrates. We're running a system that maybe was set up 20 years ago in terms of its staff, but things have gone way past the numbers that it was capable of dealing with. I think the fairness and individual to get his day in court to be properly, have his case properly heard and determined is what is paramount to everything else. And only if you're in the driver's seat as a litigant do you understand the value of that.
Well, I'm so happy that you mentioned that because, yes, granted, we are talking about the bomb threats that were leveled towards the courthouse, well, the various facilities yesterday, but it's brought us to a bigger conversation and has to treat with the logistics, the actual appearance. How do we treat with that going forward? I guess it's going to be some kind of hybrid system, but getting more structure because, again, this is no coincidence. It all happened in a 40-minute span, and in the afternoon of all, this could have been any time. This was a kind of weird timing from, I believe they said 1 to about 1:40. All this would have transpired in the afternoon, early afternoon, causing, I would imagine, business to come to a complete halt, because by the time you bring fire in to do the head count, police will come and do the sweep. More or less, that's it for court for the day, Umlala.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it's a message being sent. Fortunately, thank God, nothing serious took place, but certainly a disruptive message being sent. And it is not a good message being sent. Again, the TTPS has to beef up the inquiries and the vigilance now in light of this. And I think the Chief Justice will now have to put extra special measures in place. It was interesting, I think 2 days ago, the Chief Justice wrote the Commissioner of Police saying, I need you to put systems in place because we're reverting to in-person court, and you will have to have officers assigned to the courts.
So you feel that you feel based on a recommendation, and I want you to continue, but really fast as you mentioned that you think there should now be a delay to just reassess that particular position, the Chief Justice, based on yesterday's occurrence?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously it has to be addressed as a matter of urgency, how it's going to be, security will be beefed up. But I don't think a threat of this nature should disrupt the judicial system. If it does, it's a very bad sign, because then it would really fall into the trap of somebody's agenda. The police will have to take measures. Obviously, courts will have to be very vigilant, very strict measures. Courts would have to be sanitized before it even starts. Very heavy scrutiny would have to be taken. Unfortunately, we're in an age of technology where there can be cameras, there are all sorts of sweeping devices. But I think the judicial system has to remain robust at all times, because you have we are in a state of emergency. You have people being arrested. You have innocent people who are very often arrested, and you need the judicial system to work. There must be fairness. There must be transparency. There must be fearlessness about the system. Otherwise, the minute the John public doesn't feel they have a fair chance, then your entire judicial system is at risk.
Yes, and that's why I guess yesterday's action, as much as people might have looked at it and just bat it away, it's a serious infringement, because again it calls into question the system, the judicial system, its strength, its vulnerability, and I guess if there are any lessons to be learned from this, Umlala, what should be that major lesson going forward?
First of all, we bear in mind we're still in a state of emergency. And to do this in a state of emergency, it's almost like, flying in the face of a very serious environment. Lesson to be learned is no matter how strong you think your security environment is, we are vulnerable. We are always going to be vulnerable. We have to be vigilant, and we can't take our eye off the ball, because again, Trinidad is an oil and gas economy by any standards. It's a very critical country in the geopolitics, and we can't ever discount it. I mean, as Trinidad, we laugh off everything in 7 days as a 7-day wonder. But, these things are reminders, especially to those in national security and the police and the fire, how vigilant they have to be to keep the citizens protected.
Umlala, as always, sincere thanks. Great to hear your voice, and we will touch base hopefully soon.
Yeah, good to be on. I hope we chat soon.
That's right. Umlala, attorney at law, really one of the bright stars within that legal fraternity. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time this morning to share and to express this development that's definitely up for public contemplation. And when I saw that on the news, I said, this is a really weird one, and it was meant for that kind of disruption, and it did cause the disruption yesterday. We have to keep our eyes and be extra vigilant with this development and hope it doesn't happen anytime soon or ever again. We get ready for the Police and News segment. Officer Russell steps in. Another interesting talking point, taking us up to 7 o'clock.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95, or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy.
Rock off,
unbeatable
rock
taste,
off.
new look.
Shake off. Let me see you rock off.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
your heart, brain, and body with omega-3. Packed with essential fatty acids, omega-3 helps support heart health, brain function, and overall wellness. Whether you're staying active, focused, or simply living life to the fullest, make omega-3 part of your daily routine. Live healthier with omega-3. Wellness that works from within. Tune in to Wellness Unlocked on CNC3 Sundays at 5 p.m., also on Monday and Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some, they require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes stubborn grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, its foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
That's right. As we get into our Police and You, we welcome ASP Owe Russell. He joins me. Officer Russell, as always, great to have you with us. And welcome back as we get into the business at hand and, of course, some important talking points for today, Thursday. Great to see you.
Hey, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Williams. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, and First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. As usual, it's a pleasure to be back.
Indeed, and we have a talking point. We'll get to that momentarily. Just really quick to pick your brain on the news cycle. What's the protocol when it comes to a bomb scare? Usually, especially something that was so unprecedented yesterday, where 11 would have come in a 40-minute period. How do you all treat with that development? Because I guess you work in tandem with the fire, right?
Of course, we work in tandem with the fire. What we advise persons to do is to really evacuate the building immediately, contact the necessary authorities, the police service, the fire service, go to your muster point. Persons who are tasked with that responsibility of ensuring that everyone has evacuated the building, supposed to do their checks and stuff like that to make sure that there's no one left behind. We want to caution persons against going back for their bags, going back for their personal belongings and items, or even trying to drive out of the parking lot with your vehicle.
And this is why drills are important too.
This is why drills are important. There is a section under the special branch that is tasked with the responsibility to deal with situations like these. So they are specially trained in bomb detection, disarming of bombs. There are the dogs that assist, the bomb dogs that assist to help locate these devices.
So there are indeed officers within the TTPS with that expertise?
Mr. Williams, there are officers. The TTPS is a well-oiled machine, Mr. Williams. Okay. We have the wealth of training that we have. It's just that there are some things and some sections, some persons that you wouldn't really interact with unless you are in a position, like, for instance, cybercrime, SIU, fraud squad, unless you are a direct victim of things or offenses that cause you to engage personally with those units. You may not experience those units, but we have a functioning hospital, we have procurements, we have estimates, it's a whole different set of parts to make the organization function properly.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get some advice because I found yesterday's development to be quite unprecedented and it seemed strategic and with the intent to cause a kind of disruption. But thankfully, it was just a threat and nothing coming out of that. But what's not a threat is a stranger in your yard, a stranger coming into your home. Well, I mean, that seems to be, because a threat will be somebody probably on the outside of the yard. But once they come into the space now, that's an active concern. That is a cause of life and death in many cases with the home invasions we would have seen. So really we're treating today with stand your ground and the use of force limitations. Most people won't have access to a fuel, but they will have a cutlass. They might have a, people have the tree line, would have something there. What's your advice if you are engaged by criminal elements breaching your perimeter fence, coming into your safe haven?
Well, first of all, let me just give persons the correct name of the legislation in case they decide to do their own research. So it's called the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Act, number 11 of 2025, which was assented to in December of 2025. Let me start by saying, notwithstanding Section 7 of the Act empowers you that you are not required to flee when somebody enters into your property. And Section 8 gives you the right to defend your property. So we're looking at 7, not to flee, in defense of yourself, your loved ones. 8 deals with the property. However, Trinidad and Tobago, it does not give you a license to kill. I repeat, someone jumping into your yard does not give you the license to kill that person. You must honestly, and I say honestly, bold, underline, and caps, be of the view that you have to react in a particular manner to avoid imminent death to you or serious injury to you or a family member, rape, sexual assault, robbery, death, serious injury. And it is subject to what you believe. So you cannot just decide, okay, he jumped into my yard, I'm the owner of a nephew, but I'm going to kill him. It does not work like that, and it's something we want to clear up. And when we're speaking about it, we look at proportionate force. It's a word persons don't like. Because a lot of persons have the opinion, if you invade my personal space, then I should do what I need to do and take care of, but it doesn't apply like that. And I want to let persons know that in situations where you use force, deadly or otherwise, there are protocol and processes to be followed. So we, the members of the TTPS, must conduct an investigation.
I'm happy that we touched on it again, because I remember the first time we spoke about it and we would have mentioned apprehending a criminal element and the softening and all that, and we had a little giggle, but the reality is, after it's all said and done and the adrenaline wears off and you have to deal with the reality of your action, we don't want citizens to end up in problems with the law because of, they went beyond the boundary. And I guess these conversations need to happen more often so that there is, even in that moment of uncertainty and tremendous fear, there must also, as you rightfully said, be a moment of proportion and reasonable.
Proportionate and reasonable. And
but you see what's happened to, and I'll say this quicker, people in that moment, especially when they get the upper hand, I always say this, Officer Russell, they tend to unleash on that criminal every injustice that was done to them in their lifetime. That person becomes the embodiment of crime and criminality in this country, and they want to let them have it.
Mr. Williams.
So I guess that's where we have to kind of hold back ourselves, right?
And that is it. I hear you. And
people frustrated too.
I could understand how that person feels. For every member of the family would have experienced some sort of robbery, car breaking, chain snatch, petty larceny, who have been a victim.
And that person becomes the embodiment,
Yes, yes. And, sometimes we see the footage of these people, you just have a payroll and they just come and take your payroll and you go on. You're walking on the road, you have a chain, it have value. It have really, it was handed down, and they rob you your wedding ring, they rob you your gold chain, and I understand how people feel. Yeah? But Mr. Williams, you must be able to stand that scrutiny when the investigation takes place. You are not entitled to, you are not mandated to retreat. Yes, we want you to defend yourself, but we must be proportionate defense based on what you honestly believe. Yeah. So that even if it has to go before a court, the judge, the master, the magistrate could say, well, based on what is before me, I am satisfied that you acted proportionally.
You know, I want to thank you, as always, Officer Russell, because this is one we need to just keep in the conversation pool. It speaks of self-restraint, it speaks to discipline, it speaks to one not wanting to really go through two injustices where the injustice come to you via the criminal element, and then you have to now deal with a system.
Okay, like a lawyer.
Based on you know, on the law and how it's structured now, that you come like you feel like, you know, so yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I guess it calls for that proportion, it calls for reason, it calls for self-restraint, and you know, certain order.
I like to make the example of, like, for instance, and it's self-defense again, and you look at it. If somebody push you, and somebody fall out and they push you, does that give you the right to chop off their hand?
No.
Or take out your fuel and shoot them?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, then.
You know, and you made a point as we look to wrap things up, because we're getting ready for a time check. I told you, I remember once telling you about the incident I went through where somebody used violent language towards me. And in my mind, I was going to step back to start them now. And I remember, well, I didn't do it. You know, I was able to work it out in my mind. It doesn't make sense. And you rightfully said, I will end up in you wrong. You can't bring violence to somebody for words. Words can make you jump out yourself to the point where you want to damage somebody. Right. I would look like the terrible person at the end of the day. So self-restraint, order, and listen, we have to do a part two. This is one we have to go to the time check. But as always, Officer Russell, thank you so much for coming in for our Police and News segment for today, Thursday.
You're most welcome.
See you after the news.
Hidden talents among the crowd, this give me good reason to be proud of my country. No circus go, no theater show, can entertain as all them
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Doris Polo with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. 11 bomb threats were reported across Trinidad and Tobago yesterday, targeting several courts, a shopping plaza, and a government ministry. A fire service official believes the threats were likely the result of mischief. However, it has raised deeper concerns. Between 1 and 1:40 yesterday afternoon, the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service received calls involving alleged bomb threats at Val Park Shopping Plaza, the Judiciary Building in Bacalet, Tobago, and magistrates' courts in Siparia, Sangre Grande, Chaguanas, San Fernando, Couva, Princestown, Arima, and Point Fortin. The official says officers responded to all of the calls, but the service currently has no bomb technicians among its active personnel. The source explains the fire service's role is to ensure everyone inside a building is accounted for and safely moved to designated assembly points. The buildings are then left to TTPS bomb technicians to sweep and clear. Confirming the report, the TTPS said its security protocols were activated and urged members of the public to remain calm, avoid any affected areas, and comply with the directions of law enforcement personnel. SOE detainee Star Sabga's family are requesting to visit her as she remains under house arrest. The request is contained in the latest correspondence sent to the police commissioner last Friday, in which her lawyers again appealed for her to be seen by her physician, Dr. Jacqueline Pereira Sabga. The specific request is for 3 family members to visit her on Tuesdays and Thursdays for no more than 15 minutes at a time. Lawyers also asked for approved visit by her legal team and the Commissioner of Affidavits. CNC3 News understands the request for a doctor's visit was granted on Monday following an initial consultation on August 1st, and several unanswered requests between July 29th and August 10th for further medical visits. However, it is unclear if the other requests were granted. Yesterday, TTPS Public Information Officer ASP Awi Russell was tight-lipped on the matter.
Well, at this time, I have no information with respect to that situation, so I am unable to correctly share any information.
As it pertains to protocols in place for those detained by the state compared to house arrest, Russell again declined to comment. Shifting gears, police have served PNM trustees with additional court documents as the investigation into the funding of Balize House continues. Last month, High Court Judge Margaret Mohammed granted a preliminary unexplained wealth order requiring the party, through its trustees, to disclose how the multi-million-dollar project was funded. The order was sought by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service under the Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Act, legislation introduced by the PNM in 2019. Yesterday, 2 police officers returned to Balize House and served trustees with further court documents. Deputy Political Leader Sanjeev Budu was present when the documents were served, but said he did not read them. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Brand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Brand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Brand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union. Everyone loves a champion. A champion performance deserves a champion home. At Classic Tiles, discover premium tiles, stylish bathrooms, luxury vanities, SPC flooring, and everything you need to bring your dream home to life. Because every winning woman deserves a home that looks and feels like a champion. Champions shop at Classic Tiles, located on Endeavour Road, Chaguanas.
Wisdom is chasing you, but you are faster. Your friends are investing with First Line. This one have house, this one building business. You, my son, hey, you are buying rims.
My enemies have succeeded.
It's not too late, my son. Call First Line. Secure your future today so we do not hang our heads in shame. I'll call First Line now.
Wisdom says it's never too late to take control of your finances. First Line Securities, helping Trinidad and Tobago invest for over 2 decades. Invest with us. Go to firstlinesecurities.com to begin investing today.
Hi, Sunil here, and for the longest while, I've been looking for a place in Central to call home. I didn't have much experience in home shopping until I visited Avidan Properties Limited. They made the process so easy and the quality of homes are truly amazing. If you're looking to get your future home, then I definitely recommend Avidan Properties Limited.
Johanse IODK, I'm back with my brother here to get into some discussions for mental health matters. I know I was not here last Thursday, so I missed last week's topic, but we coming in, well, lukewarm. Lukewarm today, that's the topic. I say we coming in hot, but we start back lukewarm, and then we go full steam next week. You want to say, welcome, my friend. Great to see you.
Jason, morning to everybody viewing.
So, when I hear lukewarm, it conjures up, that sentiment of, well, you kind of, you're lukewarm, you're not hot, you're coming in, you're kind of halfway. Lukewarmness doesn't really give the best. The lukewarm won't be the headliner, basically, in the concert.
Correct.
Opening act.
Correct, and that is exactly it. You see that kind of vibe you have? That is what, and a lot of us, I wouldn't even say is, I separate from it. A lot of us at certain times in our life, we are lukewarm. And being lukewarm many times don't really lead you to forward progress. And being lukewarm for too long leads to distress, because it almost feels like going forward, but are moving, but are not really progressing.
Understood.
Right? So the concept is either to be hot or even cold, meaning to choose something and go towards it to completion.
You think lukewarm is kind of not fulfilling your true potential? Because, you're warm, You're not cold, you're warming up, but you're lukewarm. At the same time, it's like, I don't know, you're somewhere there. It's like you're on your way, but it's almost like you didn't give enough.
Yes, that is exactly it. Is giving enough for you to feel like you're doing something, but you're not really doing anything.
Yeah, it's true. How do we get out of being lukewarm? Because there are many who are lukewarm in their relationship, lukewarm in terms of their job, lukewarm with their family, lukewarm sometimes with yourself, with your own goals and your particular targets. You're just, you're cool and you're cold, you're hot, I just lukewarm.
To understand how to get out of it, first, you even have to understand why. Now, generally, people be lukewarm because they're trying to control something they don't really have control over. And let me explain. Whenever we are faced with a choice, immediately, and this is how our brain works, immediately we know yes or no. Immediately. So that is either, like you call it, hot or cold. So you're making a decision. Immediately your brain makes that decision. But then when we think about, well, I wonder what he go think, boy. I wonder what that person go think, boy. I don't want people look at me in a certain way, So that's you now trying to control something you can't control. It now stops you from going and committing to that, wherever the decision is. So we could do something simple as somebody asks you to go online. Immediately, yes or no, whether you want to lime. But then you say, if I don't go, I ain't see this person a long time, they might think I don't like them again, I might think. So then now, you're going online, but you go reach late because you didn't really want to go. You reach there and you didn't really stay long. So the commitment to it is really a lukewarm kind of commitment.
So it's almost like you're indecisive and lukewarm leaning. To me, lukewarm leans more towards a no, more towards you don't really want to do it, but you kind of do it. That's why I guess you're lukewarm. You're not hot, you're not boiling, but at the same time you're not cool. It's almost like it's like a blind and
you say the person indecisive, but they're not indecisive. The decisive, they know they didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to control some other element. So let me say somebody is like, you ever hear somebody say, this person weigh me down, right? I didn't really like him or her at first, but this person weigh me down, right? So eventually, I go out with them, I go talk to them, right? That is not, yes, as I see this person, I like them. If it's any difference in the energy. So even when that relationship starts, it's not like both people say it's love at first sight or we had this attraction. It's like, well, he or she, they say they like, man. If you understand, so now we go into that with a lukewarm commitment.
Could being lukewarm be a veil of protection based on if you're lukewarm towards certain decisions or lukewarm towards a certain pathway? Could it ultimately probably protect you from some kind of heartbreak or disturbance down the road?
No, because you already know what you want to do. And that's what has caused you the stress, is because as soon as you're faced with something, you know whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. But again, the lukewarmness, and I could change it to overthinking, right? Because you already know what you want or what you don't want to do. You know. But I don't want this to look bad. I don't want this person to view me in this manner. I don't want it to look so. So I will kind of look like I'm really doing it, or kind of half commit to it. So it don't look bad, but I don't really want to do it.
What about scenarios that started off hot? We're talking here lava, real steam, beautiful, early moments, and then it just kind of get to a place of, it's cool, nowhere close to being cool, but it get from hot to lukewarm. Is that cause for concern? Is that probably a cause to reevaluate and to probably remove yourself?
Yeah, that is a major red flag, because we could use that in a romantic relationship, but it's also any other kind of relationship, Even parent to child.
A parent to child could be lukewarm?
Yeah, because parents could want a baby, but when the baby reach, the responsibilities of the baby change the energy. Or they love the baby, when the child start to talk, it's a different story. Or maybe they like an infant, but when they reach teenager. So you see, lukewarm is a sign now maybe something should change. So it's not really detrimental, It can be if it's not addressed in an honest manner. But what lukewarmness could cause is a lot of mental distress. Because imagine going a year doing something you don't really want to do, but you're just kind of doing it because you don't want it to look bad. You want to paint a certain picture. After a while, you yourself, it's almost like you will lose yourself in it because you're just doing things that is not really you.
Being lukewarm, I would imagine there are those who operate on two sides of a spectrum. It's either you're on you or not on you. You're cold or you're hot. But there are some who, you think somebody could function, somebody could find any kind of normalcy in a lukewarm existence?
Nah, boy. Being lukewarm still means that I'm pretending that I'm trying to do something or not do something that I'm not. Because everybody know what they want to do, even though it might take a while. So let's just say I want to buy something, but I don't have the money now. Right? So I'm not buying it immediately, but the point is I'm saving more money. So all of it has not been lukewarm, it's hot, because I'm aiming to doing it. It's taking a while. Right? I want to accomplish some goal, but it takes a while. I'm moving towards it. But the thing is, let's just say somebody tell you, hey, well, you had to be a doctor, you had to be this. But that's not what you really want to do. But you're studying, you're doing it, you're kind of moving along. The distress, the anxiety, everything going through because I don't really want to do it. So people cannot function like that long term.
Wow. I'll let you as always have the final say, Yohanse.
Nation, it's better to make a decision. Don't be lukewarm and make life complicated. Because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
That's right. Well, it's another, I wouldn't say lukewarm at all. That was a hot discussion. Very, very relevant discussion. And by all means, Yohanse, we give thanks. Moving into another relevant talking point, we are treating with AI and the concerns in that regard and the official online launch of a business model here from someone I've known for many years, Gregory Fernandez. He's stepping in. AI and business. That discussion next.
We got to protect the children of this nation.
Yay, holidays!
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my Brew?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
In today's fast-paced competitive job market, certification courses provide individuals with flexible and industry-relevant learning options. Increase your chances of employment with a certification course at CTS College. We have over 50 courses in business, IT, do-it-yourself or professional development to choose from, all developed by industry experts. Courses start as low as $200 and can be completed in as little as 1 day, allowing you to acquire the relevant skills you need quickly and affordably. Contact CTS College today to sign up.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by for a cricket showdown like no other. The Trinbago Knight Riders go head-to-head with Antigua and Barbuda Falcons this Saturday, August 22nd, in another massive Republic Bank CPL T20 clash. Join us from 6:30 p.m. for the live pre-show. Then catch every boundary, wicket, and thrilling moments live and exclusive on CNC3 and CNC3Live.com from 7 p.m. Lives here.
To serve my country, Tobago and Trinidad. I pledge, know that she needs me.
I want to welcome Gregory Fernandez, a man who continues to serve country with distinction, and in terms of staying up to the time, he's always had that particular vein. AI, part of the big discussion now, and I'm not surprised that Gregory went down this particular road with the business model for the Intelico AI Agency Limited headquarters right here in Port of Spain. I saw you on the papers, I saw you on, I think, the news, and now you're here with us on the Morning Brew. Gregory, great to see you. It's been a long time, and congrats on the business model.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I am one who has been in this technology field for over 35 years.
I know that for sure.
Right, and even though people know me with different hats, I'm basically a business person, right?
And based on the business Intelico AI Agency, walk me through the business model. What could someone coming through the door, what's the engagement like? What's the problems that you're solving with this particular agency?
Right. So once I discovered that AI can transform the economy and all of that, because it allows you to be able to take a business and automate a lot of functions, right? And then scale the business. So I have come from another software company that I was 50% owner, which is HR Plus, which has been around for over 30 years. And we have 300 clients across the Caribbean, right? Corporate and so on. And I told myself, well, you know, I've been around for a while, and this was another paradigm shift. So we had, you know, DOS to Windows, Windows to the web, client server, all sorts of stuff in between there. And now the latest is AI. The difference is that AI allows even a small software company to scale, because you can use what you call AI programmers to help you build out a stack. So what I thought about was that, you know, we could build a stack that could reduce costs for businesses, right? So normally what happens is in a typical business, you pay for your office suite, for Zoom, for accounting, etc. And that could run you probably about $150 a month. So I decided to rebuild a complete stack into one package, right? And replace all those packages with stuff I could build with AI.
Okay.
So what we have built is something called Intellico Autonomous ERP, right? And what that is an all-in-one box for your business. So it has accounting, it has like Excel type stuff, Word type stuff. It has messaging, email, verticals. It has project management. It has help desk.
So this is like your virtual administration
to run your company
unit, basically.
Correct. So all you need is this one package, right? And it does everything. I even built a PBX within it, right? A virtual PBX. So you run your whole operation through this.
Who would be the ideal business group or business type or business person to embrace this kind of business model and this particular package?
Right. So the way it's structured, it can work for small up to very large companies, right? It has multi-company capability for like a conglomerate, right? Having been in the enterprise software space before, we added in all those things. So it is built with that. It was built to handle multiple languages, right? So that it can work over multiple territories. And it also has multi-currency capabilities. So, but a smaller business doesn't have to fear, because you can set up the system to work for you as a small business for one company, right? What it does is, so if I have a 2-3 member small organization, installing the Intellico makes it look like if you have 10 to 20 employees, because it automates a lot of the functionality that you need, right? So it can chase your receivables for you, for example, right? The AI agents, they are agentic, and which means that they are like virtual employees, and they can enhance your existing staff to make them that more productive.
Oh, and this launch I'm seeing is happening next Wednesday? Next
Wednesday at the Chamber Building in Westmoreland. Yeah. So at that launch, we have, it's going to be streamed live, and we are going to have persons there as well, but that would allow for persons to actually see it live, yeah, because I'm actually not going to use PowerPoint presentation. I'm actually going to show persons how this thing works, all right? And they're going to be very, very, it's going to be very eye-opening for a lot of business people, because, as I said, it can help them reduce their costs and be more competitive.
So you would have, I would imagine, tailored certain suites to accommodate, let's say, the small business entrepreneur and, as you rightfully said, the conglomerate, because I would imagine it's not one size of it all. You'll streamline it to the particular business model.
Correct, and it is built for expansion into international markets, right? So we are going to be opening an office in Ghana, in various parts of Latin America, and Jamaica, and so on. So it's to serve a global audience, right? So that's why it has all the multi-language and multi-currency and so on. But it is going to be much more cost-effective. So some estimates I have done at the company HR Plus, which I'm half owner, we have about 70 employees here. So once the stock goes in, something like that, you can save, I have estimated we could save about $700,000 to $800,000 a year, right? Because it replaces a whole variety of software that you pay for individually, right? So now you're paying about $50 US-wise, $350 TT, compared to, that stock that's costing you about $1,000 or so.
And AI is powering all this on the back end. Is there any human involvement at all on the back end to treat with, let's say, could there ever be any kind of And any kind of, who deals with any, let's say, any discrepancy at all?
Right. So it's a combination of AI and human in the loop.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, it is said that all anything dealing with finance, you must get human approval. Right. So, how it would work, for example, is the AI can somebody can send an email to, let's say, AP at Intellico, right? And what would happen is that they could ask for a quote or something like that. The AI agent will look up your inventory or services and provide the quote, but the quote comes to the human for approval before it goes out to the person who has sent the email, right?
Let me tell you, Gregory, this is a business model that will, as I rightfully said at the start, solve so many problems. It's almost like you have your own administrative team moving with you.
Correct.
It's tailored to different languages. You're getting response in real time. I think you've tapped into a tremendous vein here, Gregory. I'll give you a chance to put all the information out. How can folks continue the conversation with you and find you all online?
Right. So we are at intellico.global, right? That's the website, and it speaks of the ambition, which is to go global, right? So it's intellico.global. So if persons go to the site, there's options for you to join the live stream on Wednesday next. And if you want to get information, you can go to info@intellico.global and so on. We didn't put in, we have put in some lines, but they are more international, right? But on the site, there's what we call a concierge, right? The problem is if we get a lot of traction, we won't have enough phone lines to deal with it. But the concierge on the website could handle thousands of interactions with persons. And it's an AI agent. It can speak to you. You can ask it questions. It's interactive, and it will tell you about the services and all of that.
Intellico AI Agency, and look out for their launch next Wednesday, the 26th. It's happening at the Chamber there in West Moorings from 1 p.m. Gregory, all the best.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Great to see you, man.
Same.
Yes. From the time I saw any papers and then on the news, I say I feel Gregory will. I'll see him to talk about this on the Morning Brew, and so said, so done. Amazing conversation. That's why I'm going to make a little room now, and Ian will step in. Ian steps in from now till 8 for the morning shot, that in-depth look at sport, and he's treating with CPL during his half-an-hour conversation with you. So, God spare, I'll be back tomorrow. Ian up next for the morning shot.
They telling me that I should go out there.
Is mealtime more of a chore than a cherished time? Does a lack of appetite keep your family, young and old, from getting the nourishment they need? Introducing Apetamin, the gentle, effective appetite stimulant designed for every age. Apetamin helps spark the natural desire to eat, turning hesitant nibbles into satisfying meals. Watch as food becomes exciting again, fueling growth, energy, and shared moments around the table. Give your body the gift of a joyful appetite. Find Apetamin in pharmacies nationwide.
Summer Stage Festival, Saturday, 22nd August. Queen's Park, Savannah. TJ. Alongside the Vendetta Boss. Alkaline. And the Bajan Sensation. Master T. Alongside Chassis, Tempa, Young Bretta, Gelano. Physical tickets available now at Cache stores nationwide. Extra Foods nationwide. Ultimate Car Care St. Augustine.
Fits by Brits. 519 Restaurant. Big Life Apparel. Alpha Vapex locations and online at islandetickets.com.
Struggling to lose weight despite your efforts, feeling tired after meals, or dealing with stubborn belly fat? It may not just be your diet. Your blood sugar could be the issue. Spikes can lead to fat storage, low energy, and higher cholesterol. Berberine Plus, with berberine, bitter melon, and banaba leaf, help support healthy glucose metabolism so your body works more efficiently. Take control and feel the difference in 90 days. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide.
This
business, you have to have at least one vice or a combination of several. So if you don't smoke, what do you do to unwind?
I guess you like the song.
That's great.
Don't miss TNT's hit soap Westwood Park, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Only on CNC3.
Good morning and welcome to the morning shot where we talk sport up to the hour of 8 o'clock. And of course this morning we are talking, it's CPL time. We're going to talk a little bit of track and field as well. But before we go into all of that, let's look at the back page of today's Guardian. Young Warriors end victorious. Well, they ended victorious, which was good, a 4-1 win over French Guiana, but their opening match was a 1-1 draw with Puerto Rico, and a 4-1 loss was their second match against Haiti, which was very disappointing. And so we finished